Okay. Some things have shifted up, and I just like hearing myself say that they shifted up, and it I've had a pretty interesting, you know, 24 hours, whatever. It was an interesting day. I found the last few days have been energetically, we could say intense, we could say powerful, intensely powerful. Anyway, there's a lot of energy to work with over the past, 2 or 3 days. And it came to a head for me in the morning yesterday when I woke up with this feeling like everything's wrong. And and I would say uh, to for you to hear this, but not feel like you need to feel it. That was just my feeling. And I decided that I was going to work with that feeling and go through the process of releasing the energetics of that feeling by videotaping myself doing that, which I did. So I ended up making five videos of taking myself through the process and using storytelling and really kind of tapping into the unconscious and letting that whole process work out. But I had made a video recently, and this is really interesting when you videotape your thoughts or you videotape your process, with the idea that you might publish it and other people might watch it. Um, the idea for me to do this is that, well, first of all, I was asked to do this by my guides so that the things that they taught me, they could teach others through me. And so I think for the most part that's been working, and the feedback has been good. That it's some people are finding this helpful, which is kind of the intention. So briefly, in 1997, I like to say some of these things again and again because you may just be joining me for the first time. So in 1997, I helped in a process of bringing the new soul of the earth in. So there were four of us. Um, they referred to us as pillars of light, which I didn't have any idea what they were talking about at the time. I think I have a better idea of, a pillar of light is someone who actually lets the light in. But they put me through a period of training from 96 to 97 to get myself kind of physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically ready for this event that took place on March 23rd of 1997. And in came a being um, committed to being the soul of the earth for the next 13,000 years. So the whole process that was going on there was this process that our Earth and our sun, our Earth is perceived to propel the sun. I don't fully understand that, but the sun moves in this orbit around the central sun, and it's a 26,000 year orbit. So, like the yin yang symbol, 13,000 years of that is feminine with a core of masculine. And 13,000 years of that is masculine with a core of feminine. So we're completing the 13,000 years of masculine with a core of feminine, and we're going into feminine with a core of masculine. And we're in a 28-year transition from that 13,000 years of masculine energy to this 13,000 years of feminine energy. But but in that 13,000 years of masculine energy, the being of the soul of the earth at that time was feminine. Now, with the feminine energy of the earth, the core of that is masculine. So there's always the masculine and feminine. In the yin yang symbol, you'll see the black and the white, and in the white is a circle of black, and in the black is a circle of white. So there's always this interaction between the poles of our masculine and our feminine. So I actually got to have communication with this being who told me his name was Abrahamanan. I actually knew some of the other beings that had chosen to bring this being in for this process of planetary change that was going on. Now, this is all on some other level, and I like it. I like that I actually am involved in parts of it. So Abrahamanan explained to me that we're going to be going through a 28-year process of cleansing. There would be 7 years of physical cleansing, 7 years of mental cleansing, 7 years of emotional cleansing, 7 years of spiritual cleansing. That process, the spiritual cleansing has been going on for 6 years. That process will be complete on March 23rd, 2025. So we have approximately 11 months in this spiritual cleansing process. And so it was suggested to me almost 4 years ago. It was like June of 2020. It was suggested to me that I do something like this, a YouTube channel, where I give information about what's going on and do things like bring in the hot doors, set up healing fields, things like that, that will help people in this time of transition. Because when our stuff comes up and we need to let it go, it's nice to be able to just say, I choose to let this go, and those times where it just goes. But there's also those gnarly rooted things. I'm just saying that I experience these. You might experience these. If you don't, great. But these gnarly rooted things where you're saying, I choose to let it go, I choose to let it go, I choose to let it go. The thing's going like, fud off. Whatever. But this one yesterday was a gnarly rooted thing. And I made the decision to process it on video. And I actually did make the 5 videos. And I published 2 of them yesterday, 2 of them this morning. And I held off on the 5th one. And then the energy that started to come back from them was like, whoa, and I actually, anyway, it was like, oh, okay, a lot of energy coming back from this. This is kind of stirring up a hornet's nest a little bit. I pulled them off. So only, 30, 40 people got to see them. But I use a form of testing, getting yes, no answers. So is it good to leave this on? Yes. Is it good to leave this on? Yes. Is it good to leave this on? Yes. Is it good to leave this on? No. And it's like, okay. So then it came off. And so if you missed them, they're still stored in a private space, private to me and YouTube and Apple computer and whoever owns Apple computer and whoever collects information. If there's, computers out there collecting information, who knows? Might just be a conspiracy theory. Whatever it is, I hope I'm not giving you more to think about today. And I did these 5 videos where I actually processed some deep some deep energy, some deep stories, some deep energy traumas that had a whole bunch of emotions connected to them, and actually process those auditorily and visually on my computer, and then copied and pasted them on, uploaded them to YouTube. And I ended up watching them about 3 times. And I realized that was really an old way to do it. And it may be useful for people who want to kind of know what processing was. Maybe they have no one to teach them how to just process. I'm having this feeling. What do I do with it? I want to throw something at someone, you know. I want to just spew it all over everyone. And then I realized that, I was giving a kind of, I was giving a kind of a lecture on working with emotions while and I wasn't fully spewing them out, but I was kind of cracking that egg of emotions and letting it out. And I was thinking, like, that that is so kind of old school, because if you think of it, I think what we call the overwhelming events or the traumas we've experienced where it was unexpected. I've used the example of the person hitting me right in my ear with, the side of his fist. It was like getting hit by a baseball bat. Crack. And I've used that because it was so unexpected. It was a person I went to school with, a person I never had problems with, and I was just explaining to him that, in the order of rotation, it was my turn to be at first base. And he just hauled off and just whammed me one. Well, that was so unexpected. And I, saw stars, and I couldn't stand up, and I had to walk over and sit down on the bench, and I had to process it, but it just got locked in. I was 12 or so at the time. We've all had, things that occurred to us. And I realized that the way in which I was demonstrating releasing that energy might have been very triggering for people who haven't had a lot of experience of working with energy. So at one point I saw this thing going out and, being one of those ones that's picked up and watched by 1.4 thousand people. And I thought, oh, wow. It would be better to set up a healing field and do a Hathor sounding to assist those people so they would be in a protected field while they did the work. I hadn't done that for others who might be watching my video. So I may set up a healing field for anyone who watches those videos, and I may publish them one at a time, not like 1 hour later, 2, the next day, 3, and a few hours later, 4. Just putting that massive energy movement. 5. 5. I'm going to probably need to watch a number of times myself before I really let anyone watch number 5. I mean, this may be building some, now you want to watch it, which is fine. You don't know what it is, and I know what it is, and I know that I'm not unleashing that on the world yet. And possibly possibly never, because it was just so raw. And sometimes, you see something that raw, and you might have the question, why isn't that guy in a mental institution? Because very few people feel comfortable of going to that deep space of overwhelming events and releasing the energy of it. So I can talk with you about it, and actually, as I talk with you about it, I can help you gently release those energies. That's very different than when I just do a full-blown video series of me releasing really intense energies. That's just like, it's like too much information. That's what it felt like, and after I pulled them off, I was like, yeah, that's better for people. We need to, we need to. It may be a time for us to release a whole lot of energy. And we do probably all feel like it would be helpful to have the support of others who know what they're doing in terms of this release of energy and can actually be supportive. And the way in which I can do that is I can set up these healing fields. So after I pulled all those videos off the shelf and replaced them with a video with a field set up and seventh dimensional beings, the Hathors, making sounds to help clear those energetics, then it all felt like it was held. So I'm perfectly comfortable with that video. I'm perfectly comfortable with one of the Hathor videos, I think, that had 900 views. It's contained within that field. And so it's not like when I do my own thing, like, oh, I'll just process my intense emotions over the course of a morning and then just put it out there. Well, put it out there into the world and then have it come back. Whoops. Maybe not the best idea. Maybe I could have handled it, but I really didn't feel like I needed that test. I'm aware of what I can handle, so I don't need to give myself tests. What I do want to do is help you. And so I want to go back in a way to how I might have been helping you before by describing things and by helping you do small energetic things and learn to notice what you're doing. And I'm also glad to have you on a journey with me, beginning to understand the unconscious mind and how it's here to assist you to heal, to help you connect with your deep self and how the deep self is fully healed. It's only this identified self that is doing the healing work. So the more we're connected with the deep self, the more our healing work is just taking place through the movement of energy, through the consciousness of the deep self, through our connection with the oneness of all, through our relationship with the Hathors, if we develop one, through our ability to ground ourselves in the healing center of the earth. These are all skills I've spent years developing. These are all things I'm really good at. And also, I can wander off into this whole realm and then bring it back to center. That wandering off into those realms is okay if always we bring it back to center. And in the tarot card, which you didn't get the tarot card reading from yesterday, and I may see if I can figure out how to do it. It had to do with me headless because my cat had come in and was sitting on my lap in that video 5, and that video 5 contained the tarot reading. So I um, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be useful. I'll probably watch that again, and maybe I'll see if I can't cut it down in terms of trying to do the hand thing. In terms of it looked like a lotus blossom. In terms of posting it for the useful part, but I don't know if there'll be any useful part. I may just have to just say that was yesterday. Today's today. Today, a whole bunch of stuff has changed. So we might want to just move on to this now. Leave that now behind. Don't worry about the future now. Just be now. Be in now. See how it is. Okay, I wanted to just kind of explain some things, and I hope that I've done that. And I'll watch this to find out if I actually explained anything. All right. So be well, and may you have a perfect day, as always. Now I must go.